As the soul traverses the physical and metaphysical plane, one of the biggest challenges is what is right relationship for our Atman, our true selves, and with the material world around us. The lunar eclipse that took place this morning is in ANURADHA Nakshatra. And so for the next 2 weeks, the eclipse energy is going to be in this nakshatra. So the way that I organize these videos is to tell you about the energy, because they will describe what type of conflict you can anticipate and the intentions behind what interactions you'll have. So I start with that, and then the second part of the video will be a highlight for your sign so that you can check on exactly where in your life and how in your life this might be affecting you. I do recommend that you watch your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. Every person reads differently, so if you're new to my channel, find out which of these works for you. I do these every new moon and full moon. So when the new moon cycles come around and the full moon cycles come around, you know which of the signs in these videos resonates most effectively for you. So ANURADHA is the nakshatra of dedication and devotion. It is symbolized by an archway, as in the goal, the thing that you're moving toward. The purpose behind ANURADHA is dharma, which is right, what is right. And so ANURADHA really looks at right relationship. And it's this period in the soul growth where you're becoming more material. And as you become more material, you start to lose your connection with the divine. And so what ANURADHA is doing is it's looking at how are we tending to our inherent worth? How are we seeing to that? And specifically, how we are seeing to that through our relationships. So we're looking at several aspects of right relationship. ANURADHA Nakshatra is in the constellation of Scorpio. And one of the elements of Scorpio is deception. We're looking at what is your relationship with deception, or also what is hidden. So to illustrate, here are 2 ANURADHA natives. The first is an actor who plays in 2 major productions. One of them is Game of Thrones, in which he plays a person who is completely immersed in espionage. So he deals in secrets, and then in Downton Abbey, he's a newspaper man, and the same thing, he deals in secrets. So on a low end of Scorpio, it's a person who deals in worldly secrets. On the high end of Scorpio, another ANURADHA ascendant is C.C. Zane, who was the person selected to write out the Brotherhood of Light, ancient hermetics into student format so that people could access hidden knowledge, occult knowledge. So you see, what is hidden? Is it the secrets of the world that are used to manipulate people and gain power, or are they the secrets of occultism and spirituality to help people assist in humanity? The next element is our relationship with relationships. So what is right relationship when it comes to relationships? The deity associated with ANURADHA is Mitra, and Mitra is a god of the sun, and Mitra exposes things, exposes the path. It's interesting, as in lunar eclipses expose things, right? So you have Mitra, the god of the sun, and Varuna is also associated, and Varuna rules cosmic law. Varuna is also the ruler of the deep and in charge of night. So you have Varuna, you have night, and then you have Mitra, day. And here's the thing with it. Night and day are distinctly different. At dawn, they meet, they merge, and one becomes the other. At dusk, they meet and merge, and one becomes the other. While they have these parts where they merge together, they are distinctly separate. Just like in your friends group, in your relationships groups, with your significant other, with anybody you do dealings with. This is business, this is anything. The people you deal with, you contribute to them and they contribute to you because you are each distinctly different. You bring some attributes to the relationship which enhance each other, but if you all brought the same attributes, it wouldn't really be a relationship, it would just be a continuation of yourself, you see? So you have to be separate, night and day, you have to be separate in order to be distinctive. And in order to have relationships that complement one another, you bring different features. So that's why you separate, develop yourself, and then come together. So while the deity Mitra is a union maker, the ruler of Anuradha is Saturn, boundaries. Another item with Anuradha is right relationship with our experiences. Associated with Anuradha is the lotus flower. And the lotus flower is something that has its roots in the mud and then has a long root, and at the top of the water has a beautiful flower that's seen. Now, if you're looking, you only see the beautiful flower, but the beautiful flower is the result of a lot of work and roots in the mud. The enactment of Saturn. With us as humans moving toward divinity, we need to have our roots in the mud. We need to have our roots in humility, based in humility. And why is that? Well, did you ever grow from an experience that was not difficult? Did you ever have everything going well for you, and then at the end of it, you said, my God, I really am a new person because of that? Not necessarily. It doesn't really work like that. It's the humility, it's the circumstances, the life experience that cause us to be humble, that cause us to feel humility, that enable us to develop the spiritual fortitude to ascend. What is right relationship with devotion? Well, if you merge with a thing, you cannot be devoted to the thing. You cannot actually love the thing because it's part of you. It stops, right? If you merge with the thing you are devoted to, you lose the ability to interact with that thing. Anuradha is the power of devotion and worship, and it's about the coming together. You know, when you have an amazing meditation, or if you work with intuitive gifts, but these different ways that we contact the divine, these different ways that we contact parts of ourselves that aren't worldly parts of ourselves. That's a particular feeling that unless you've done it, you don't know what it's about. So you can't describe it to somebody because they don't know what it's about if they haven't done it. But if you're on this path, the difficulties with experiences, with people, with all of the troubles, when you have that connection, it makes it all worth it. The thing about it, we don't walk every day, all day with that connection. You can step in and out of it. Sometimes you stay with it for longer periods of time than others, but it's not all the time with you. And in a way, you see, that makes it a bit more special because you can connect with it, and then you can come back and do your work here in the material plane with the knowledge of what you really are and with the knowledge of what you can truly access. So that's another way that Anuradha expresses. We individuate from our bliss so that we can interact with and appreciate our bliss. So the lessons of Anuradha are about aspiring toward our inherent worth and doing that through relationship and being devoted to something without losing ourselves in something. And another element of Anuradha is the idea of changing forms. As a soul, we come to the earth and we take a body, we incarnate, because through this incarnation, we have experiences, we have relationships, but we live so that we can grow and learn and evolve. And in the process of that, we have to shake off what our form was when it no longer serves our growth. So we take on a new form. Sometimes that comes in the form of physically a new appearance. Sometimes that comes in a new profession. Sometimes that comes in the form of different personality. Sometimes that comes in the form of different friends, of different groups. But where we are currently reflects what our growth has been to this point. And so when you take on a new form, it may be that you are entering a new phase of life. So whatever's happening, whatever's coming and going, what you do with eclipses is you just let it go. That's what you can do. It's happening. There's nothing you can do to stop it. It's happening. What you can do is control the way that you react to it. You can control how you're going to allow it into your life, whatever's happening, and how you're going to move into, with ease, the next phase. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You have the Scorpio energy in the Scorpio house. So, watch for this eclipse to take something away that is an 8th house issue. Lunar eclipses, first of all, an eclipse is a quick happening. Usually it's not out of nowhere, it's something that's been brewing, but maybe you just didn't expect it to end so soon. But an eclipse, if you've been meaning to take care of something, an eclipse will take care of it for you, but it will be gone. So there's nothing you can do to stop it, it will just be gone, right? Now, 8th house has to do with the things you share. Shared resources, shared intimacy. It also has to do with secrets, the occult, hidden knowledge, basically everything this video has been about. So, first thing, look for a sudden change. And what could this be? My God, like when it comes to 8th house issues, it's wonderful if any of those things go. So if you have deep psychological trauma, maybe that's going to be eclipsed out. If you have secrets, maybe they're going to be exposed, but then the good part is it's over, they're out, right? Debt, maybe it's the end of debt. Any type of intimate situation of the past, perhaps that's going to get exposed. But the ANURADHA energy, it's about changing forms. So whatever happens, this 8th house isn't really like the other signs or like the other houses where it will be a mundane issue. It's probably not going to be a mundane issue. But whatever happens is for the purpose of transformation. So watch for change. And if it's 8th house, it's probably not going to be terribly pleasant, but it'll be over. All right, so the second issue is right relationship. 8th house is across from 2nd house. So we're going to look at these two. So again, 8th house is hidden things. It is shared things, secrets, intimacy, occult, debt, joint finance, inheritance. And then the 2nd house also has to do with money. And it is money you make from the job you have. It is self-esteem. And it's the idea of earned esteem, what you've worked for. So here's the issue, is do you have right relationship with your self-esteem? And do you have right relationship with that? Maybe you needed help with something. So maybe what you feel should have been yours to deal with became a joint issue. Eighth house has to do with these secrets. That's the third issue. It's like, what secrets are there? So when it comes to these issues, what isn't being said? What issues of the past are an undercurrent to the activity going on and a silent driver of dynamics that are going on in your life? And again, maybe a silent driver of the way that you have your conversation about certain things, right? What secrets are there? Because those control you. Anytime that there's something that's unsaid, it's there, but you're talking around it. You may be having a different conversation, right? So like it moves differently, because if things are just clear, they're clear and you can just say what you need to say. But when there are secrets involved, then all of a sudden you're maybe having a conversation with somebody. If you're sharing joint finances, like that's a big one. It's really about money, although the words will be about something else. It's really about how you couldn't provide for yourself, and so that's why you're here. But the words will be about something else. See, it can work like that. So what you think you should have done for yourself and where you needed to accept help on your journey. That's an issue right now for Aries. Or alternatively, where you should have been independent and you knew it, but you chose not to. You weren't in right relationship and you remained not in right relationship even though you knew the difference, and it caused problems. Any way it looks, it's finished now. The important part is for you to have right relationship with how you feel about yourself, your self-esteem, right relationship with how you feel about your experiences in the past, and right relationships about how you feel about your money, because both 2nd and 8 have to do with money. So if you like, some people feel a certain way because they have debt. Some people don't, but some people do. What you think you should have earned, where you are versus where you think you should be, right? Because 2nd house is the outward expression of something, and then 8th house is the inward secrets of that something, right? The underpinnings of it. So watch for sudden change. Make sure that you have right relationships in these areas. And the third thing, whatever secrets, whatever things of the past, whatever hidden silent drivers are controlling your dynamics right now, or have some element of control over your dynamics, it's time to bring them to the light. They can't help you where you're going. You're carrying them around like baggage, like a very heavy sack, and they're weighing you down. They won't help you. You're changing forms. It's time to cut it loose. Wherever you are on the road, just put it down. Release it. If you feel like it's necessary to forgive yourself, do that. If it's a happening, if it's something you could have done better, if it's something you wish you hadn't have done, if you put yourself in a situation, where you sit today is not where you sat when you made that choice, right? So you can forgive the version of you who was there then, if you feel that's appropriate. But whatever it is, you can put it down. Release it and walk on. Your new form is waiting, and that won't do you any good. So again, imagine you're walking the road and it's a heavy sack. Just sit it down and keep walking.